Hi, everybody. Welcome to College, the podcast. I'm Peg Keough. Today, I'm joined by one of our new experts on our team, Rose Ellen Mocombe. It's PSAT month, so we'll be talking all things PSAT. Why do you take it? What happens after you take it? And much more. So stick around. We've got a lot to unpack, and you're going to want to hear it. All right, we are back, and I am super excited today to be chatting with one of our newest experts. I think most of our listeners know we have this team of experts at College Aid Pro that work with families around the whole financial, some admissions too, space. And I'm in charge of finding the little gems out there that are doing great work, that are aligned with us. And so Rose Ellen Mocombe has joined us. She is so new. She's not even on the website yet. So, but super excited to have her on the team. And today I thought of her because she knows financial and she also knows admissions. And you actually started on the admissions side and then added financial. Is that right? Or
That's
was it
correct.
kind of all together? Yeah.
Yes, definitely on the admission side and realize the importance of financial. So,
Yeah, yeah.
glad to be a part of
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So why don't you just take a minute, just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Rose Ellen Mocombe, and I am an IEC here in Oviedo, Florida, which is in the Central Florida region. I've been working with students all over the country and helping them to find the best fit. I am an avid fan of College Aid Pro, so much so that I decided to become an expert, and I am so elated to be a part of this wonderful team. I genuinely believe that starting and understanding the costs of college will help to guide you in finding the most affordable and part of finding your best fit. So, as an IEC, I do have the educational background and can help you through the process of learning your skills, your aptitudes, but that comes after learning what you are able to afford, your affordable family contribution. And College Aid Pro is unique in their product of really helping you before you sit behind that desk and realizing the amount of merit aid or the amount of resources that will be available to you in the college process. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was super it was a great idea on my part. Yeah, I'll have Rosella on. So, so today, if everybody doesn't know, which you probably don't, my marketing person, our marketing person, Kathy Portelli, the guru, our social media guru, she's like, well, Peg, it's PSAT month. And I said, I didn't know that. So we thought it'd be a great opportunity. Let's talk about the PSAT. Might be something that some of you have heard, maybe not. What is it? Why are your kids taking it? When should they take it? Why is it a good idea to take it? All that fun stuff. So why don't we start, Rosellen, with what is it? What is the PSAT?
Well, the PSAT is the pre-exam for the SAT. And this PSAT is important because it provides students with an opportunity to earn national merit scholarships. We'll get into that a little bit later, but essentially this helps to prepare your students for taking that standardized achievement test. In order to do well on that test, it does take lots of practice. Taking the pre-SAT provides you with a good benchmark in terms of knowing what areas of practice may be good for you to achieve the score that you're looking for on the SAT. It does take numerous amounts of effort to put forth to score well on that exam. Similar to how you practice for football or you practice your piano, you do have an opportunity to practice the SAT. And so that's exactly what it is. It is a practice test for the SAT.
Yeah. And I feel like with my kids, and I don't know if every school does this, they were in public school, but they were given the opportunity as sophomores to take it, which I thought was great. It's like,
Mhm.
what does this hurt? It helped me as a parent gauge, okay, how well are you just inherently doing on this? And I know some of the math, depending on where the kids are in their math track. Some
Mhm.
kids haven't even taken some of the math. It's on the math section, so you have to keep that in mind. But to me, it was, if nothing else, it was an opportunity to sit down and start practicing that. Here's a section. You have this much time to finish it. And I know now everything, I'm dating myself, but that was go sit somewhere and take it. Now things are going digital like everything, right? So it's going to be, things are constantly changing all the time. But
Mhm.
even digitally, however it's done, just having them get used to that scenario,
Environment.
right? That is it's kind of unique and a bit pressure filled potentially. So I thought sophomore year was a great opportunity to practice. Then so the merit, and I'll just point this out and then you can expound on the national merit.
Mhm.
So when kids take it junior year,
Huh.
that is for national merit. So whatever their PSAT scores are, that's what's going to either qualify them for the different levels of national merit or not qualify them.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, if you get 1500, you get this. And to me, because this isn't my expertise, but this is
Mhm.
just what I think I know. Um,
Mhm.
it's going to change every year because you're competing with the pool of kids. So if one year the kids are, getting 20 points higher on the
Mhm.
PSAT, then everything's going to be raised as far as being a semifinalist, a finalist, all that fun stuff. So why don't
That's
you just speak to that piece, and then I'll add a little parenting tip on the end, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's really an exciting time. So think of it as an opportunity rather than something that you should be afraid of, right? Because your child has been working all throughout high school, developing a certain benchmark of skills, and they have the opportunity to demonstrate their skill level on the PSAT. So when they do take the PSAT, as you mentioned, Peg, in their junior year, that's when that score does qualify for the National Merit Scholarship. So, the National Merit Scholarship is created or originated by a nonprofit, non governmental institution. So, they are very independent and they have set aside funds for students where they have a chance to basically demonstrate where they are academically. As students progress based on the scores that are obtained during that particular cycle, then they are given points of advancement through the scholarship competition. So, students may be recognized as commended students. Students may be recognized who advance as semifinalists. Those who advance even further are then known as finalists. And then they are given scholarships for their work and achievement. It is a nationally recognized achievement. Colleges recognize that achievement, corporate sponsors recognize that achievement, and students are provided with various award amounts. The National Merit Award Scholarship that is provided one time is for $2,500. There are corporate sponsored merit scholarships. Those can vary anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000. There are corporate special scholarships that can also vary from $25,000 to $10,000. And then there are college sponsored merit scholarships. Where there are stipends that can range anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a year. So the amounts will vary, but the commendation, the recognition, the salutation that is achieved from hard work, essentially over a sustained period of time, is something that we all should appreciate and salute those students for doing well on those exams.
So those different levels, like commended, semifinals, finalists, that's based on where you're the student's PSAT score falls with the applicant pool, or is it something if you're a semifinalist, can you be a finalist, or is it just do you move is what I'm saying?
You
There are
move through the
interviews.
process. So the semifinalists ultimately will move to be a finalist.
And what do
Uh,
they have to do to move?
it's purely the scores. They're just the
Okay.
scores are, they're sifting through the scores and that will determine. Now, if you are moving from commended to the semifinalists, then there's an application that's also required along with that. So, first, it does start with your scores, and then you complete that application, which they continue to move you through the process.
Okay. Okay. So you can start at commended and see it's obvious that I'm learning. I love
We're
having
all
people on the
learning.
podcast
We're
because I
all
always learn. I
learning.
didn't know anything about corporate. I know I've seen the colleges that some colleges will really award, do some nice merit money
Yeah.
for national merit kids. But isn't there something on the college side where they have to go in and have that school as their number one choice to get that? Is that how that works?
I would not say that definitively. I'm sure that that looks favorably. The school probably would look upon that favorably if you have them as your first choice, as they would even with an early decision application if you mark them. Whether that is binding or whether that is a determining factor as to whether you will receive more or less, I wouldn't say that definitively. Each school has their own process and or recommendation.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say, like, I don't know when my kids took it if they knew about the national merit. Everybody parents and has their own style. But if you know your child and they tend to be a little bit more, they get worked up about stuff and maybe pressure themselves, might be better not to tell them sometimes different school environments are so hyped
Mhm,
up that
mhm.
even when parents are super chill, they're always, I mean, I feel like nowadays with kids, you're always saying, well, I was always saying, just do your best. As long as you're
Right,
doing your best, you're fine
right.
in our house. Don't
Yeah.
worry about block out all the noise. I mean, every family's different, but that's where you can decide, if you want to
How far
actually
you'll
tell
take
your
it.
child that, if it's going to cause anxiety. And I love how you said, I wrote it down, like, think of this is an opportunity. And some
Mhm.
kids don't do well on tests.
Right.
They're really smart. They have these amazing resumes, great GPA, and
Mhm,
they just don't shine on an exam.
mhm.
Okay, take
That's
the
right.
PSAT. It's a good practice. I
Yeah.
also think it's a good practice because we're not going to go into depth on SAT versus ACT today, but I think it's important. Some kids just feel more comfortable with one over the other, and the
Mhm.
PSAT is a good chance to practice that one. I know things have changed. I mean, now recently things have changed with the ACT. There's just constant change, but I think that's another thing for parents to think about, like see which test your child just feels better about, not
That's right.
even the scores, because that might be the one. I mean, maybe some families, kids focus on both. I would
Mm,
think that would be a lot to put on a kid's plate, and it
a
could
lot.
get confusing even because the tests are different. Who knows? But it's a good opportunity to just say, yeah, I felt kind of good on the PSAT. I always tease my daughter Shannon, because I'm like, you never did as well as you did on the PSAT on any of the ones that really mattered. Like I used to, I mean, I was just teasing her to, I didn't really care, but I was like, really? Can't you get back up to that PSAT score? Give me a break here. But anyways, okay, that's great. So let's talk about because I'm sure people are thinking, well, what's the difference between the PSAT and the SAT? Are they exactly the same?
Okay. Hold on 1 second. My computer may die. If you would just hold on 1 second, Peg.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. These things happen when we're live. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have her chat about SAT versus PSAT. And while she's plugging in, I will just give a little plug. Um if we have senior parents listening, you have a senior in high school, even junior, anybody, we did all financial aid form discussions in September. So definitely It's well worth your time to go listen to the September episodes because it's financial aid forms time. Everybody should be digging in on that. So just a little sidebar in case you're new to the podcast, welcome. But definitely go back and check out all our episodes. But the whole month of September we were doing that. So you good to go?
I'm good to go. Sorry for
Awesome.
that. That's real live life. There you go.
Yeah, that's real life. You just got to roll with it.
Okay,
So,
so
so
repeat your question again.
PSAT versus SAT.
PSAT versus SAT. Yeah. So the PSAT really is going to provide you with insights into where they are right now. And the SAT will have more advanced math, definitely, because they should have a level of understanding that is increased after they are taking the SAT. But interestingly enough, I would encourage both students and families to practice with the SAT. Practice with the SAT because ultimately this is the one that you will use for your college admissions package. Practice because it will provide you with great insights into where you are right now, even if you don't have the math or the different types of skills that they are looking for between the two tests. The SAT is the end game. There's nothing wrong with starting to practice as early as 8th grade. Does that mean that you will be practicing for as many hours as you would when you are a junior or by then a sophomore? No, but similar to the way that we practice sports, we don't wait if your child is going to be a baseball player. You're not waiting until they are in 10th grade before they get to seeing bat meets ball. So that environment, that testing environment that Peg spoke about, that simulation of that experience is really almost repetition. You want it to be rote. You want it to be something that they are very familiar with. And so practicing with the SAT only helps you to get better. Similar to starting early with your financial planning. There's no reason for you to wait until the end of junior year when you realize, okay, we need money for college. Well, start thinking ahead. College Aid Pro is here to provide you with that support based on the funding that you set aside already. They may suggest, okay, this is how much you will need to save based on the colleges that you are interested in. So it really is about strategy. So deciding which test to take, if it's the SAT or the ACT, deciding if you want to start out with the PSAT, the definition, the simulation. Once you understand the format of the test, they're pretty much the same. You must know how to read, you must know how to write, and you must know your arithmetic. And that's all that those tests are, providing a baseline of insight too for colleges to determine if you will be a good fit for their incoming class.
Yeah, and everybody is familiar with this concept if you've been paying attention at all, this whole test optional concept, which was always, I don't think everybody knows this, fairtest.org has been around for a while. And then COVID hit, and then nobody could take tests. And then it became a real thing. All these schools were like, well, it's got to be optional because nobody can take exams. And now everybody, not everybody, the ones that were test optional before, that was their thing. There's probably some schools that may stay test optional that weren't adopting that philosophy pre-COVID. But there's a lot of schools that are going back to, we're not test optional anymore.
Mhm.
So like to your comment about strategy, that's a whole nother thing. And I
Mhm.
know some of our experts will say, and it's valid, like even if a school is test optional, if you look at their admissions, it's like, well, what percent of kids are they letting in that didn't submit scores versus submitting scores? Optional,
Mhm.
doesn't mean they're not looking at them. It
Yeah.
never meant that. And so that's where some of the strategy, and just like everything in this process, all these schools are different
Mhm.
and they do look at the whole student. So how they're going to look at, like, even my son and my daughter being twins, exactly the same
Mhm.
household, they're not the same kids, right? So they're going to look at kids so there's a lot of strategy there about should you submit scores, right? Even
Mhm.
when you go through, I love your sports analogy because when you first said 8th grade, I'm like, Wow, that's a lot. But if you do it like, "Hey,
Consistent.
just try do this," and it's very not stressful,
Mhm.
pressure-y, to
Right.
your point, then kids just get used to, "Yeah, I've taken a few of these every
That's right.
summer,
That's right.
and, my parents had me do this, I'm kinda used to this." So then
Mhm.
the way the test is administered and the length of it, which it's long. It's
It's
long,
long.
right? Isn't it like 4 hours and 15 minutes or something? It's
It's getting
long.
shorter every day, but, yeah.
I guess that's good. But that's unique. So just getting them
Mhm.
used to that. I remember with mine, you could I don't know if it was Khan Academy, but I forget. There's free ones out there, right?
Yes.
And I remember screaming, "Okay, stop," and literally timing it the way, if you're going to do it, you want to set it up so it's pretty much what they're going to be experiencing, because to your point, that helps with it becomes just they're
Normal.
just like, "Yeah, I'm used to this. Yeah, maybe I
Yeah.
don't know all these answers, but I'm used to the format, and then
Mhm.
the stress of it might
Mhm.
go down, should go down because you're used to some of that." So I think that's a great point. And everybody, your kids, what they can handle, what works for one versus another, and
Mhm.
you make decisions accordingly around that. But because the PSAT is quite a bit shorter than the SAT, right,
Mhm.
Rosellen? Yeah. Yeah. So it's okay to see scores, but as in my daughter's case, didn't mean anything, right? And it's not the same as the SAT in length. And like you said, there's math that's
Mhm.
added to the SAT. So, it's fine and, take it.
Yeah.
And for the national merit piece and the practice piece, I don't know that all private schools, I'm pretty sure publics usually do it, and if there's space, at least when my kids were doing it, it was like, if there's space for the sophomores, then the sophomores could do it. So
Mhm.
nowadays, with the digital, and I don't know, private schools do it exactly the same if they
Mhm.
make it available. So that's something for our listeners. I mean, that's something you wanna check, um,
Yeah.
with your school. But isn't the PSAT that it's like middle of October, like it's coming up for the
That's right.
juniors, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. It's
Yeah,
coming soon just
mid-October.
for Halloween, so, get them dressed up and go engage in that opportunity, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, well, before we wrap up here, anything else you wanna share just around this
Mhm.
PSAT, SAT testing piece?
Yeah, I think, I want people to leave here knowing that you really can score well on that exam. It's not going to happen if you just show up. It does take work and it does take strategy and it does take persistence and grit. So the fact that there is a scholarship opportunity, really, it's almost, and think of it like an academic exercise that you are engaging in. And you have an opportunity to share your knowledge and your skills, and people win. Like you see real live winners at your schools all the time. So celebrate with those students who do make that effort, cheer them on, and let's get excited about education and learning, and hoping that we at College Aid Pro can be of assistance to you.
Yeah, and I'll just part with saying, whatever your child's personal best is, they should be commended for that, whatever it is, right? Not every kid, my kids weren't merit scholars.
Mine
That's all
either.
good. It's all good, right? The lion's share of kids are not merit scholars, right?
Yeah,
And that's great for the kids that
it
it
is.
works out for.
Yeah.
But that's not everybody, and it's all good. It's all
Mhm.
good wherever they are and whatever their personal best is, trying their hardest, whatever that is. I mean, I've just felt that ever since my kids were teeny tiny, like with all the standardized testing in schools and praising the kids that get it perfect. I never liked any of that. It was like the kid who
Mhm.
gets 10 wrong and that's their personal best should be up on a pedestal just like a kid
That's
who
right.
gets none of them.
That's right.
But that's a whole nother conversation that I won't get on my soapbox about today. But thank you so much for being on.
Mhm.
And our audience gets to meet you, which is so lovely. Everybody, thanks for being here. Stay tuned. This is game time for seniors. We got financial
Mhm.
forms going live. They've been live for a bit now. The FAFSA even went live before October 1. First time
Mhm.
it's ever gone live early. So far, so good with the government shutdown. All of our team of experts, I haven't heard a lot about the FAFSA not functioning. So fingers crossed that still seems to be going pretty well with the shutdown happening still. So that's all good. And for younger parents, it's as Rose Ellen mentioned it a couple times today, it's if your child is in high school, it's planning time now. It doesn't have to be massive planning depending on the age of your oldest child or what grade they're in, but the sooner you start figuring this out, the less stressful it is. You learn things, and then that dictates the different pieces of what you decide to do as you're guiding your child on this journey. And, just stay tuned. Tune on our podcast. Join our community. We've got tons of free webinars. We have tons of support around this whole journey. So that's what gets us all out of bed in the morning to
Mhm.
to be there with you guys and support you. So thanks for being here today, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, please follow us, share the show, or maybe even send it to a parent or counselor who would enjoy it. I'm your host, Peg Keough, and I was joined by Rose Ellen Mocombe, a CAP admissions and financial expert. This episode was produced by the wonderful Eileen Campbell. We'll see you back here next week.